She's not smiling because she's being nice. She's smiling because you made her feel something she didn't expect. You've seen that look, my friend. A younger woman catches your eye, gives you that soft, curious smile, then looks away like nothing happened. You tell yourself it's just manners, but deep down you know it wasn't. That smile had weight. It had curiosity. It had attraction written all over it. Here's the truth, folks. Younger women notice older men who move differently. You're calmer, slower, more sure of yourself. You don't talk just to fill the air. You don't need to be the loudest guy in the room. And that quiet control gets under their skin in a way you probably don't even realize. But most men miss the signal. They think they're too old or out of her league. They start explaining themselves, apologizing for their age, or worse, trying to act young again. And that kills the spark instantly. Because what attracts her isn't your youth, it's your steadiness. It's the way you hold eye contact like you've got all the time in the world. In this video, I'll show you why younger women smile at older men, what that smile really means, and how to respond without trying too hard. We'll talk about energy presence and the kind of quiet confidence that makes her think about you long after she walks away. Stay with me, my friend, because once you understand this, you'll never look at that smile the same way again. Let's get into it. Number 1. She feels your calm energy. You ever notice how the room changes when you walk in, my friend? Not because you're the loudest or the flashiest, but because you don't need to be. That quiet, steady presence of yours, she feels it. A younger woman might not even understand why, but the moment you walk past her with calm, deliberate energy, her body picks up on it before her mind ever does. Let me give you a real example. Mark is 56, a financial advisor from Colorado. Divorced for a few years, he's not chasing anyone, just focused on his life. One afternoon, he's at a local cafe reading a book, enjoying his coffee. A young woman in her late 20s walks in, orders her drink, and ends up sitting a few tables away. She keeps glancing over, not in an obvious way, just subtle, almost curious. When their eyes meet, he doesn't rush to smile or look away. He just holds eye contact for a second, then returns to his page. A few minutes later, she's smiling to herself. That, folks, is calm energy at work. No pickup line, no chasing, no performance. Just stillness, and stillness is rare in a world full of noise. Younger women today are surrounded by men who talk too fast, move too fast, and think attraction means proving something. But your calm energy tells a completely different story. It says, I've been through storms and I don't flinch anymore. That steadiness is powerful, it's grounding, and she feels safe and curious around it at the same time. What you might not realize is that this response comes from instinct, not logic. Her body senses that your nervous system is settled. You're not reaching, not overthinking, not performing. You're comfortable in your skin. That comfort radiates. It's the masculine polarity women crave but rarely encounter. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "The nearer a man comes to a calm mind, the closer he is to strength." That's what your calm projects, strength, not indifference. It's the difference between trying to impress and simply being. When you're centered, your energy fills the space. She feels your confidence, not from what you say, but from the quiet authority in how you move, how you breathe, how you look at her. Mark later told me he didn't do anything that day. He finished his coffee and left. But as he walked past her table, she smiled again, this time slower, deeper, almost like an acknowledgement. No words exchanged, yet the connection was real. Why? Because calm draws curiosity. Here's the mistake many men make. They confuse calm with passivity. But calm isn't doing nothing. Calm is control. It's awareness. It's choosing not to react. When you bring that energy into a room, women feel it instantly. They can't help it. It's primal. So the next time a younger woman gives you that look, don't overthink it. Don't doubt yourself. Just breathe. Stay grounded. Let her feel your calm, because that's the energy that speaks louder than youth, louder than words, louder than anything you could possibly say. Comment, I've noticed that. If you've ever felt someone react to your calm without you saying a word, stay tuned, because next we'll talk about why confidence, not looks, is what truly speaks to her. Number 2, confidence speaks louder than looks. Let's be honest, folks, you don't need to look like a model to catch her attention. What turns her head isn't your hairline, your jawline, or your bank account. It's how you carry yourself. Younger women pick up on confidence before they ever notice appearance. They feel it through tone, through posture, through the way you hold your space without rushing to fill it. Confidence, the kind that actually speaks to her, is quiet. It's not loud, arrogant, or attention-seeking. It's the kind that says, I know who I am, and I'm good with it. That energy doesn't need validation, and that's what draws her in. Because she's surrounded by men chasing approval, trying too hard to be impressive. You, on the other hand, simply exist comfortably in your own presence. That's power she can feel without you saying a word. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's the essence of masculine confidence. You don't wait for the world to confirm your worth. You live it, breathe it, project it. When you walk into a room with that kind of quiet certainty, people adjust to your energy, especially women. Now here's what's interesting. Confidence isn't something you act out. It's something you stop covering up. It's already there. But years of noise, insecurities, mistakes, failed relationships bury it under fear and overthinking. The more you try to show confidence, the less real it becomes. Confidence isn't a performance. It's presence. It's you being unbothered, collected, grounded. Younger women notice this instantly. They can sense whether a man's confidence is coming from ego or self-respect. Ego talks too much, explains too much, reacts too fast. Real confidence listens. It takes its time. It doesn't need to win every interaction, because a confident man isn't measuring himself against others. He's measuring himself against his own standards. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That's confidence in its purest form, the kind that starts in your mind before it ever reaches your body language. When your thoughts are stable, your presence becomes magnetic. You stop chasing impressions and start commanding attention naturally. Think about it, my friend. Have you ever seen a man walk into a room and immediately shift the mood without saying a word? He's not necessarily the best dressed or the youngest, but his body says he belongs wherever he stands. That's confidence. And it's louder than looks will ever be. Here's the truth: looks fade, confidence deepens. A younger woman might notice a handsome man, but she remembers the one who made her feel safe, seen, and steady. That memory isn't visual, it's emotional. It's the way her heartbeat changed when she stood next to composure. Confidence is not about convincing her, it's about controlling yourself. That's Stoicism in practice. You don't react, you respond. You don't chase, you attract. And when you do, you become unforgettable. So remember this: your presence doesn't need decoration. You don't need to dress younger, talk faster, or prove anything. When you walk with quiet certainty, she feels it. That's why confidence will always speak louder than looks. Comment, I've felt that. If you've ever noticed how calm confidence changes how people look at you, stick with me, because next we'll uncover how she tests you and why that's not rejection, it's curiosity. Number 3. She's testing if you notice her. Here's something most men don't realize, my friend. When a younger woman smiles at you, she's not just being friendly. She's testing you. It's subtle, but it's real. She wants to see how you handle that moment. Do you panic and overplay it? Do you ignore it completely? Or do you notice it, hold it, and stay calm? That little test tells her everything about your confidence. Let me give you a real story. Jeff, 52, owns a small gym in Texas. He's not flashy, just a solid guy. One morning, a younger woman named Brooke, around 28, joins one of his classes. She's bright, funny, and clearly used to attention. Every time Jeff passes her during warm-ups, she throws a small smile. Nothing over the top, just that kind of look that lingers long enough to mean something. The first couple of times he smiled back politely and moved on. By the third time he simply met. Her eyes nodded once and kept his focus on the class. You know what happened next. She got quieter, but more attentive. She started showing up to every class after that. That's what a test looks like, not confrontation but curiosity. She wanted to see if he'd break his frame. And when he didn't, her respect for him deepened. You see, folks, when a woman tests you, it's not to disrespect you. It's instinct. She's checking your energy. She wants to know if the composure she felt from you earlier was real or just an act. A younger woman might smile, tease, or even challenge your calm just to see how grounded you really are. And if you flinch, if you start trying to win her over, she knows it was surface-level confidence. This is where most men fail. They either get nervous and overcompensate, or they ignore her completely out of fear of being too obvious. But Stoicism teaches something better, the balance of awareness and control. You notice, but you don't chase. You acknowledge, but you don't react. You see the test for what it is, not what your ego wants it to be. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's exactly what these moments are about. You're not being tested for your looks or charm. You're being tested for emotional strength. She wants to feel your calm when things get playful, unpredictable, or slightly uncomfortable. That's where attraction either grows or dies. When you can stay composed under that pressure, maybe smile back, maybe say nothing at all, she feels something shift. You've proven without words that you're not like the men she's used to. You don't bite at every bit of attention. You lead the moment by simply being steady. And here's what's funny, once you pass her little tests, she relaxes. Her teasing becomes warmer, her tone softens. That's when connection begins. So next time you catch that smile, that playful glance, or that quick shift in energy, don't overthink it. Just notice it. Stay calm. Let her see that her test didn't shake you. Because when she realizes you're unshakable, that's when the real attraction begins. Comment, "I've noticed that before." If you've ever caught yourself being tested like this and kept your cool, stay with me, because next we're going to talk about how maturity, not game, is the hidden turn-on that makes you unforgettable. Number 4. Maturity is her hidden turn-on. You want to know what really gets under a younger woman's skin, my friend? It's not your money, not your stories, and definitely not you trying to act like you're her age. It's your maturity. The quiet way you think before you speak. The way you can read a situation without needing to dominate it. The way you move like a man who's seen life, faced it, and doesn't need to prove a damn thing. That kind of composure, it's rare. And that's exactly why it turns her on. Younger women live in a world of emotional chaos. Fast texts, quick hookups, loud egos, and men who crumble at the first sign of challenge. So when she meets someone who's steady, deliberate, and grounded, it's like stepping into calm after a storm. You don't need to impress her. Your stillness is impressive. The Stoics understood this power long before dating apps existed. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That's maturity in action, not talk, not theory, but presence. You don't need to explain your worth. You live it in every gesture, every decision, every silence. See, folks, real maturity isn't about age. It's about emotional discipline. It's knowing when to speak, when to step back, and when to simply observe. It's the ability to carry discomfort without running from it. And here's what most men don't realize. That control, that patience, that self-awareness, it creates sexual tension because it tells her, this man won't lose himself in me. He'll meet me where I am, and he'll still be himself. Women test men all the time to find that edge, but maturity passes every test without even noticing there was one. You don't get hooked by every reaction. You don't take her emotions personally. You understand that attraction breathes in space, not in control. You're the calm in her storm, and trust me, she feels that deeply. Epictetus wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And that's the secret here. Mastery of self is the most masculine energy there is. It's why younger women find older men magnetic, not because of years, but because of what those years have taught you. You've learned that anger doesn't make you powerful, silence does. You've learned that validation doesn't make you attractive, self-respect does. And here's where most men miss the opportunity. They underestimate their maturity. They think they need to act young to connect. But the truth is, she's already drawn to the difference. She doesn't want another boy to compete with. She wants a man who leads without trying to control. When you stand your ground, when you stay unbothered in a moment of tension, that's when she feels that heat rise. It's not about being fatherly, it's about being stable. And stability is the most erotic thing in a world full of chaos. So my friend, stop shrinking your energy to fit in. Let your maturity show. It's not a weakness, it's your advantage. You've earned it. And when you wear it with quiet confidence, women feel that depth instantly. If you're ready to take this further, to master that kind of masculine calm, that stoic energy that draws women without saying a word, join the membership. Inside we go deeper. I'll show you how to build presence, control, and emotional awareness that make you unforgettable. Daily lessons, private Q&As, and real stoic practices that turn theory into strength. Remember this, boys chase attention, men command it. Your maturity isn't what makes you old, it's what makes you powerful. Comment, I understand that. If you know your calm is what truly gets noticed. Stay tuned, because next we're going to talk about the kind of stability she craves and why it keeps her coming back. Number 5. She craves stability, not drama. Let's get one thing straight, folks. Younger women aren't just drawn to older men because of the gray hair or the calm voice. What really pulls them in is something deeper: stability. Real, grounded, masculine stability. The kind that says, I've seen storms like this before, and I'm not going anywhere. Now let me paint you a real picture. Alan, 55, works as an architect in Florida. Divorced, no rush to date, just enjoying his life. One afternoon he meets Emily, a 29-year-old marketing consultant, at a friend's dinner party. She's beautiful, confident, full of energy, the kind of woman who lights up a room. But as the night goes on, she's the one doing most of the talking. Every story she tells has a bit of chaos behind it. Ex-boyfriends, toxic flings, messy breakups. Alan doesn't judge, he just listens. He laughs where it's appropriate, nods when needed, but never feeds the drama. When she finishes a story and says, you must think I'm a mess, he just smiles and says, no, I think you've been around a lot of noise. You're just ready for quiet. Boom, silence. That one line hit her harder than any compliment could. Because deep down, that's exactly what she was craving: quiet. You see, my friend, stability is sexy. It's rare. It's the new luxury. Women today are drowning in emotional noise, fast dating, instant gratification, constant texting, endless guessing games. They crave the kind of man who doesn't add to the chaos, but cuts through it. Younger women might be attracted to excitement at first, but they stay for stability. And here's what's powerful: stability doesn't mean being boring. It means being steady, in tone, in emotion, in decision-making. It's the confidence that whatever happens, you'll handle it. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." That's the foundation of stoic strength, and it's exactly what she feels around you. You don't flinch when things get heated. You don't match her chaos with more chaos. You stay grounded. That emotional control is what separates you from every man she's used to. Now, don't mistake this for indifference. Stability doesn't mean cold or detached. It means calm, not careless. It's warmth that doesn't burn. It's strength that doesn't flex. When you can stay collected while she's emotional, you become the anchor she didn't know she was searching for. In Alan's case, Emily started texting him after that dinner. Not because he chased her, but because she couldn't stop thinking about how peaceful he made her feel. That's what stability does. It doesn't chase attention, it draws curiosity. It makes her want to lean in. Here's the truth, folks. Drama is loud, but stability echoes. It stays with her. The older man's calm, that unshakable frame, is a direct contrast to the chaos she's used to, and that's what makes it magnetic. So stop thinking you need to compete with excitement. You don't need to be the thrill, you need to be the grounding force she can't forget. When the noise fades, and it always does, she'll remember how she felt when she was around your peace. Comment, I've been that calm. If you've ever felt your steadiness change the whole tone of a moment, stay tuned, because next we're going to talk about the power of mystery and why not saying everything is what makes her want more. Number 6. Mystery makes you irresistible. Here's something few men ever understand, my friend. Attraction isn't built on what you tell her. It's built on what you don't. Mystery isn't about playing games or hiding who you are. It's about leaving room for her imagination to do the work. Because when she can't fully read you, she starts thinking about you. And that's where desire begins. Younger women, especially those used to men oversharing or over-pursuing, find mystery magnetic. Most guys today can't stand silence. They rush to fill every pause with words, compliments, or explanations. But a man who can sit in silence, comfortable, composed, that man stands out. He doesn't need to impress because he already knows who he is. That quiet self-assurance creates tension. And tension, folks, is the foundation of attraction. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When your thoughts are calm, confident, and collected, your presence carries that same tone. You don't need to perform mystery. You become it. Your stillness makes her wonder. Your restraint makes her chase the meaning behind your words. Every time you say less, you invite her to feel more. Think about it. How many times have you met someone who told you everything about themselves in 10 minutes? By the end, there's nothing left to discover. Mystery dies in overexposure. But when you give just enough, when you speak with intention and leave silence behind your words, she fills that space with curiosity. She starts to project her own story onto you. And the human mind always finds what it looks for. Now let's clear this up. Mystery doesn't mean manipulation. It's not about withholding affection or creating confusion. It's about pacing connection. The Stoics called it measured response, not reacting to every emotion, not revealing everything too soon. Epictetus wrote, "If you wish to be a writer, write." In our context, that means, if you wish to be desirable, live desirably. Let your actions speak before your explanations. Let your values show before your validation-seeking does. What makes you irresistible isn't what you show off. It's what you naturally reveal through presence. A simple look, a pause before you answer, a smile that doesn't need words. It's the sense that there's more beneath the surface and that she'll have to earn the right to see it. That's what separates a man of depth from a man of attention. Women don't fall for mystery because it's hard to get. They fall for it because it feels real. It suggests that you have a world of your own, one she's curious to be part of. You're not waiting for her to complete you. You're already complete. And that completeness is what makes her lean closer. Here's the beauty of mystery. It slows everything down. It pulls her out of the noisy, fast-paced dating chaos and into your rhythm. That slower pace builds anticipation. And anticipation, my friend, is the quiet language of desire. So remember, mystery isn't an act. It's a mindset. It's the discipline to stay composed when others overshare. It's the confidence to leave a little unsaid, because when she can't read every page, she'll keep turning them. Comment: I've seen this happen. If you've ever noticed how silence makes people lean in, don't go anywhere, because next we'll talk about how experience, not youth, creates the kind of sexual tension that lingers long after the first glance. Number 7. Experience creates sexual tension. Let's get real, folks. What separates you from the younger guys isn't just your calm or your confidence. It's your experience. Not just in life, but in how you carry yourself, how you read the room, how you understand timing. And that, my friend, is what creates sexual tension. Not words, not compliments, but that sense of control that only comes with time. Let me show you what that looks like. Paul is 58, a contractor from Seattle. Divorced for years, he's not chasing anyone, he's just solid, centered, enjoying life. One night at a mutual friend's wine tasting, he meets Claire, a 32-year-old photographer. She's lively, witty, used to being the center of attention. But Paul, he doesn't bite. He listens. He takes his time before speaking. He meets her eyes when she talks, but never rushes to respond. That pacing, that patience, it changes everything. Halfway through the night, Claire leans in closer, touching his arm lightly when she laughs. By the end of the event, she's the one asking if he's free next weekend. Paul didn't flirt aggressively. He didn't try to impress her. He simply stayed grounded. His experience told him not to fill every silence, to let it breathe. And that space, that calm energy, became tension she couldn't ignore. Here's the truth, my friend. Experience teaches you restraint. It teaches you that desire doesn't have to be rushed, that silence can say more than 1,000 words. And when a younger woman senses that, the confidence to let the moment build naturally, it makes her lean in, because she's used to men who chase, not men who wait. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." In other words, maturity filters impulse. You no longer move out of excitement. You move out of intention. That's what gives your interactions a kind of quiet intensity. You're deliberate, controlled. You don't talk about attraction, you create it by how you hold yourself in the moment. Paul told me later that he used to think women wanted constant validation, compliments, messages, attention. But what he realized is that women want to feel something deeper. They want tension that builds from presence, not pressure. They want a man who can let anticipation do the work. And that comes from experience, from knowing that the longer you let her feel, the stronger the connection becomes. Younger men try to rush attraction to prove they're enough. Experienced men let it unfold. They understand that tension grows in space, not in speed. When you've lived long enough, you stop reacting to every emotional spark. You recognize that true chemistry isn't about chasing excitement, but about matching energy. Sexual tension isn't about physical contact, it's about awareness. It's the eye contact that lasts a moment too long. The pause before you speak. The sense that you're in control of yourself, not her. That's what draws her in. Because she's not used to a man who can handle that kind of energy without losing composure. So, here's the takeaway: experience is your advantage, not your limitation. It's what gives your calm its weight, what gives your silence its depth, and what turns your presence into attraction. When she feels that she's not thinking about your age, she's thinking about your control, and what it would feel like if that energy ever focused completely on her. Comment: I know this power. If you've ever felt that calm confidence change the air around you. Stay with me, because next we're going to talk about how letting go of her approval actually makes you the one she wants most. Number 8. You don't need her approval. Here's the truth, my friend. The moment you stop needing her approval, everything about your energy changes. You become lighter, calmer, and more magnetic, without even trying. Because the second you stop performing for someone else's validation, You start living in your own gravity. That's what makes her pay attention. You see, folks, most men give away their power without realizing it. They shapeshift to please. They overthink every text, every glance, every silence. They chase approval like oxygen. But here's the paradox. The more you try to be liked, the less attractive you become. Why? Because needing approval is rooted in insecurity, and insecurity is loud. A younger woman can feel it immediately. When you adjust your words, your tone, your humor, just to keep her engaged, she senses that need. And once she feels that you need her attention more than she needs your presence, the polarity flips. Desire dies. Confidence isn't about convincing anyone. It's about being unaffected when people don't respond the way you expect. That's what Stoicism is all about. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. When you truly grasp that, you stop reaching, you stop trying to control outcomes. You start focusing on your state, your center, instead of their reaction. When you walk into a room not needing to be liked, your energy instantly becomes attractive. You're not proving anything. You're not trying to win attention. You're just being. And that stillness speaks louder than any attempt at charm. Think about it. The man who doesn't need validation is free. Free to walk away. Free to speak honestly. Free to be himself without calculating every word. That freedom is intoxicating. Because most people are trapped in the need to be accepted. You're not. And she feels that difference. Epictetus taught, if you wish to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. That's brutal honesty, but it's the ultimate test of self-control. You stop fearing what others think of you. You stop letting perception dictate behavior. And that's what makes your confidence unshakable. Here's the truth. Women don't fall for men who need them. They fall for men who choose them. When you're no longer desperate for approval, you move from needing to deciding, from reacting to leading. You're not driven by her response. You're guided by your principles. That's why some men age like fine whiskey, not because of looks, but because of independence. You've lived enough to know that peace of mind is worth more than validation. That maturity shows. It's in your posture, in your voice, in your silence. You don't flinch when someone pulls away because you've learned that your worth isn't up for negotiation. And here's the twist. When you stop chasing her approval, that's usually when she starts chasing yours. Because now she feels something rare, a man who's complete. A man who's not looking for permission to feel worthy. You become the one thing that every woman secretly craves, but rarely finds a man who's calm, centered, and self-defined. So my friend, remember this. You don't attract by proving your value. You attract by embodying it. You don't win by convincing, you win by not needing to. Comment, I've lived this. If you know the freedom of not needing anyone's validation. Don't go anywhere, because next we'll talk about how your calm frame, that unshakable presence, is what quietly pulls her in without a single word. Number 9. Your calm frame pulls her in. You ever notice, folks, how some men walk into a room and the energy just shifts? They don't say much. They don't demand attention. But somehow every eye, especially hers, finds them. That's not luck. That's frame. And when your frame is calm, when your energy is stable and grounded, it quietly pulls her in without you lifting a finger. Let me tell you a real story. David is 53, a real estate broker from Chicago. Divorced, confident, but not arrogant. He meets Sarah, a 30-year-old graphic designer, at a networking event. The place is loud, full of fast talkers and fake laughs, but David isn't competing. He's leaning against the bar, relaxed, listening more than he's speaking. When Sarah strikes up a conversation, he doesn't rush it. He doesn't try to dominate. He just holds space. His tone is low, his movement slow, his attention steady. And here's what happens within minutes. She starts mirroring him. Her tone drops. Her pace slows. She leans in a little closer. That's frame. He didn't persuade her. He didn't impress her. He led her energy without a single word. Frame isn't something you talk about, my friend. It's something you live. It's the emotional foundation that sets the tone for every interaction. When your frame is calm, people adapt to it, especially women, because feminine energy seeks balance. And when your masculine energy is stable, grounded, and non-reactive, she naturally relaxes into it. But here's the catch. You can't fake a calm frame. You can't act chill. Women feel authenticity faster than anything else. If you're pretending to be composed, but your mind is spinning with insecurity, she'll sense it instantly. Real calm comes from self-trust. It's the product of knowing who you are, what you want, and what you won't tolerate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's the Stoic foundation of frame. You're not trying to control her behavior. You're mastering your reaction to it. Because your reaction, or lack of one, defines the emotional temperature of the moment. When David told me about that night, he said something that stuck. I realized I wasn't trying to win her over. I was just being myself, and she met me there. That's the essence of frame. You don't chase. You don't shrink. You simply hold your ground until the world adjusts. Younger women find that kind of stillness intoxicating because it's rare. They live in a world of overstimulation, constant texting, swiping, instant gratification. Your calm becomes the pause they didn't know they needed. It gives them space to feel something different, safe, curious, and drawn in all at once. Here's the mistake most men make. They let her emotions pull them off center. She gets distant, they chase. She gets moody, they explain. Every time you adjust your behavior to match her volatility, you lose your frame. And once you lose your frame, attraction fades. But when you stay centered, steady in tone, relaxed in posture, patient in silence, she feels that strength. She starts to wonder what it would take to shake you, and the more she wonders, the deeper her attraction grows. Your calm isn't boring, it's magnetic. It's what separates the men who talk from the men who lead. So hold your ground, breathe slower, speak less. Let your silence do the work. Because when your frame is solid, you don't chase energy, you pull it in. Comment, I've felt that pull. If you've ever noticed how staying calm changed everything, stick with me, because next we're wrapping this up with the truth about what makes her miss your presence long after you're gone. Number 10. Your presence is what she misses. When it's all said and done, my friend, what she'll miss isn't your voice, your words, or even your touch. It's your presence. That energy you carry when you're calm, focused, and unapologetically yourself. It's the steady rhythm you bring into a room, the quiet confidence that makes her feel something she can't explain. That's what sticks. See, most men think women miss the chase, the messages, the compliments, the attention. But that's not what lingers. What she really misses is the emotional space she felt when she was around you. That stillness in her chest when your eyes met. That feeling of safety mixed with curiosity. That's presence. Presence is more than being there. It's how you occupy the moment. When you're fully grounded, when your attention isn't scattered, she feels it. It's rare today. Most men are distracted constantly on their phones, split between 10 thoughts. But when you show up completely with quiet focus and calm energy, she feels seen. And the truth is, women don't fall for looks, they fall for how they feel when you're near. Let's break that down. When you talk, you're not rushing. You pause, you listen, you respond with intent. You're not trying to fill silence, you're letting it breathe. That creates tension, that creates weight. That's what she replays in her head when you're gone, not what you said, but how it felt to be in your frame. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." That's exactly what your presence gives her peace. You become the stillness she didn't know she needed. And when you leave, the contrast hits hard. Every other man feels noisy, uncentered, impatient. That's why she misses you, because her body remembers what calm feels like. Presence is a kind of quiet dominance. It's not about control, it's about certainty. You're not chasing her, you're centered in yourself. You don't demand attention, you draw it naturally. You're the eye of the storm in a chaotic world, and women feel that difference instinctively. Here's what most men miss when you detach with grace. You make space for her to feel your absence. You're not cold, you're not punishing her. You're simply gone fully confidently. That absence creates reflection, because the man who doesn't cling, who can walk away with peace in his eyes, is unforgettable. He's the one she compares everyone else to. So remember this, folks. Your value doesn't live in your words or gestures, it lives in your energy. Presence isn't something you do, it's something you are. The man who can master it doesn't need to chase, convince, or perform, because when he leaves, the silence he leaves behind is louder than any noise he could ever make. That's the truth. She won't miss your attention. She'll miss your calm. She'll miss your focus. She'll miss your presence. And that, my friend, is what separates men who fade away from men who stay in her mind long after the smile disappears. So let's wrap this up, my friend. What you've learned today isn't about chasing smiles or playing games. It's about understanding energy, confidence, and calm. Younger women aren't drawn to noise, they're drawn to presence. They don't fall for words, they fall for how a man makes them feel. And that feeling, that quiet strength, is what makes you unforgettable. If you're ready to master that presence, that unshakable calm that pulls people in without a word, join the membership. Inside, we dive deeper into Stoic mastery, discipline, confidence, and masculine composure. You can live every day. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next lesson. Thanks for watching, my friend. Stay grounded, stay sharp, and I'll see you tomorrow.